Peace. Country and I said, verse 1 gives our honor, praise, fear, how you want to shoot my brother. We came a song. So, how should talk to these me tell an example of Leviticus 18 verse, this is Leviticus 18 verse 30. Therefore, shall you keep my ordinance, that you commit not any one these abominable customs which are committed before you, that ye defile not yourselves in the Lord your God.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. Today is Easter Sunday, and whilst the Christians of the world are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Christians and non-Christians alike will no doubt be feasting on chocolate eggs. The rebirth of Jesus and the consumption of chocolate eggs are certainly not linked with regard to their origins, and historians and biblical scholars alike will universally admit that before ever becoming a Christian holiday, Easter is undoubtedly a pagan festival. This can be seen by the fact that the date of the Easter weekend changes every year, and it is due to Easter always being the first Sunday following the full moon after the spring equinox. Unlike the word Christmas, the word Easter also has pagan roots, and history books can trace it back to the Saxons, where Easter was the spring goddess. It wasn't until the 8th century when the Anglo-Saxons took the name from the goddess and married her up with the resurrection of Jesus to give a new name to a Christian holiday. But of course, Easter as a celebration goes back much further than the Saxons, and some say it even goes as far back as the Sumerians, and the legend of Dumuzi or Tammuz to the Babylonians, and Ishtar or Inanna. The legend known as the Descent of Inanna was found inscribed on a 4,100-year-old clay tablet. As Tammuz dies, Ishtar follows him into the underworld, where she gets judged, killed, and is hung on display. Meanwhile, the earth goes into decline, with crops failing and animals stopped reproducing. After being missing for 3 days, the god Enki sends 2 creatures into the underworld, carrying the plant and water of life, and the 2 gods are resurrected. They return to earth as the light of the sun for 6 months, and 6 months later they go back into the underworld again and stay for a further 6 months. Hence we see the cycle of death in the autumn and life in spring, all of which of course are connected to sun worship. As you can see, like the story of Noah's flood, the Christian story of Jesus has borrowed a lot from the Sumerian legends. Whether Jesus was a real person or not is open to debate and is not for this video, but there is no doubt that the story of Jesus was embellished with far more ancient mythology to keep the ancient knowledge alive and to encode the wisdom into the New Testament for future generations. The Bible is certainly a carefully crafted work of art. As AncientOrigins.net reports in their great new article on Easter, linked below in the description, in the 4th century when Christians identified the exact location of the empty tomb of Jesus in Jerusalem, they selected a spot where a temple of Aphrodite, another god based on Ishtar or Inanna, once stood. Like with most churches and cathedrals around the world, the former pagan temple was torn down, and in this case the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built in its place. But of course, as many of you know, there are many more stories of death and resurrection in the ancient world, such as the story of Horus in ancient Egypt, Mithras, Dionysus, etc. All such legends are common elements and are all associated with sun worship, and many were incorporated into the New Testament, which really isn't unsurprising when you look at the formation of the Holy Roman Empire and the adoption of Christianity by the Emperor. In ancient times, the Cybele cult flourished on today's Vatican Hill. Cybele's lover, Attis, was born of a virgin, died and was reborn annually. The spring festival began as a day of blood on Black Friday, rising to a crescendo after 3 days in rejoice over the resurrection. In the early days of Christianity, there were violent conflicts between this cult and early Christians over whose God was true, and the fact is that both stories are actually the same. In the New Testament...
Start here, that's in pitch stage in Bolgier. Down one gives honor, praise, fear, how to shoot, and our brother kingdoms. Shalom.